Hi everybody, welcome back. Again, if you have that blanket to sit on, block, maybe a strap, today that would be good for you, I think. I'm going to be offering a lot of different variations in class today. So if you're in the advanced yoga class, you'll be a little more comfortable with some of the variations that I'm offering. And if you're in the beginner yoga class, you most likely want to just skip those parts and practice the variation that I'm suggesting for you. However, if you are in the beginner class and you feel like maybe I could try that, I'd say go ahead and try it, at least one of the variations maybe, and see how it feels. And here's the key recommendation is if you can breathe in the pose, like evenly and steadily, and you're not holding your breath, you're not gritting your teeth or clenching your jaw, then that pose can work for you. If you're doing any of those things, it's not a good pose for you. So it's really up to your intuition to guide you and make this a good yoga practice for you, not something that's going to cause you to be tense. That's not what we're going for. All right, so we'll get started. Today's class, we're going to talk about emotions and how that is can be part of our yoga practice. Right now, of course, there's a lot of different kinds of emotions that people are experiencing in these strange times that we're having right now. There's fear, of course. There's anger. There's loneliness. There's sadness. There's hope too. So it's just that there's a lot of different types of emotions, and different people are experiencing different types because of whatever situation they're in. So it's important to be kind of compassionate about that, compassionate both to yourself and to others. So everybody's just going through whatever they're going through. And I think it's important to honor that emotions are part of our human experience. It is one layer of us. So we observe the emotion, we see that we're having the emotion, and we feel it, we experience it. And it's okay. What we don't want to do is lock up emotions and trap them. That can eventually cause problems later on in life. It can turn into physical problems. It can cause tightness. We talked about this a little bit before when we worked with the sacral chakra, the hip area. So we are going to be doing a lot of hip opening postures today. So hopefully that'll be good for you. All right. First, let's get centered. Come to that comfortable seat. Remember to elevate the hips a little bit. Excuse me. Relax the shoulders. Let the eyes close or lower. Relax the jaw and the eyes. And then start to notice the breath. And then really let the breath fill the lungs up. And really let the breath out. You can audibly exhale if you'd like. Sometimes that's a nice release. Another breath like that. Big breath in and out. And one more breath like that. Inhale. And then we'll quiet that breath down a little bit. Just in through the nose and back out through the nose. And take a moment here to bring to mind your intention for your practice. Our group intention, or my intention with you, is to create a sense of awareness around emotion and the importance of allowing that emotion to be expressed, to be felt. So if that is sort of ringing any personal bells for you, allow that perhaps to be your intention, or any other intention that's uplifting to you. And then we'll just move into some even breathing. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, exhale, breathe in, and breathe out. Inhale, let's just take the arms up. And exhale, bring them behind you, fingertips to the floor. Inhale, just lift the chest and the chin. If that bothers the neck, leave the chin to the chest. And exhale, chin to chest, and walk the hands forward. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, walk the hands over to the right. And exhale here. Inhale, walk the hands over to the left. And exhale here. Inhale, come back to the middle, come all the way up. And exhale, make your way around to all fours. Breathe in, wrists under shoulders. Breathe out, knees under hips, fingers spread nice and wide. Let's just do a couple of cat-cows. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chin. And exhale around the back. Lower the chin to the chest. One more, breathe in. And breathe out. Inhale, come back to neutral pelvis. Exhale, walk the feet over to the right. Look at the feet and do a little side stretch here. Maybe move your hips to the left. On an inhale, come back to neutral. Bring your feet back over to the left now. Exhale, look to the feet. And then inhale back to neutral. Exhale. I'll give you a little creative freedom here. Here's where you can just move your hips anywhere you'd like. Just try to stay connected to the rhythm of your breath as you move the hips back and forth, maybe forward, or maybe back, making hip circles. And then we'll meet back in tabletop position. Inhale, press into the pads of the hands, tuck the toes under. Exhale, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale, lift up the heels. Exhale, bend into the knees. Feel the tailbone reach up toward the ceiling. Breathe in, press into the pads of the hands, lengthen the spine. And breathe out. Let's take the heels back down toward the floor. Inhale, shake the head. And exhale, just be here in downward dog. And then breathe in, start to walk the feet forward. Come toward the front of your mat. Exhale, fold over the legs. Couple of breaths here. Inhale, shift the weight slightly forward and toward the front of the feet. And exhale, it's okay to soften the knees, let the chest come toward the thighs maybe. Breathe in, imagine you could feel the energy moving from the sacrum, the back of the pelvis there, all the way to the lower back and down the spine to the head. And then we'll soften the knees. Lift the head, bring the hands to the hips, press down through the feet, inhale, come on up to stand. And exhale, if you're not already there, step to the front of the mat. First, I'm going to go over some different options for lowering down to the mat. So in a basic in a sun salutation, you're typically going to lower down to the ground at some point. So I want to give you some options so you can know which one you'd like to do. Let's take a basic sun salutation A. It starts like this. Inhale, arms go up, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, hands come to shins, look up, lengthen spine, shoulders back. Exhale, bend knees, plant hands, and step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward to plank. And then here's where we have some options. Option 1, lower the knees, lift the tailbone, bend the elbows, look forward, and lower the chest and the chin down. That's the one we did last time. From here, lower the hips, lift the chest into this low cobra. And then exhale, tuck the toes, press back, and then end up back here in downward facing dog. Option 2, from plank, so go ahead and come to plank, inhale to plank. Exhale, lower the knees, but instead of lifting the tailbone, you're going to keep the spine straight. Shift forward a little bit, look forward, and bend the elbows just a couple of inches. The shoulders, we do not want our shoulders any lower than our elbows at all ever on this, okay? And then inhale, straighten the arms, point the toes, press the tops of the feet into the mat, maybe look up. It's called upward facing dog. And then exhale, roll over the toes, lift the hips back to downward facing dog. You also could opt to do that low cobra as well. And then option 3, shift forward to plank, inhale. And on option 3, you would keep the knees lifted. It's a lot harder, and you really have to make sure to not bend the elbows too much. Shift forward, bend elbows, keep looking forward, and then straighten the arms, point the toes. Thighs are lifted, and then exhale, roll over the toes, downward dog. So those are your options. Let's just walk forward again and come up to stand. All right, so you choose what works for you. Let's bring the hands together at heart center. We're going to do sun salutation. It's a little different than we did last time. Starts with the chair pose, okay? Inhale, sink the hips as you raise the arms. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, hands to shins, look up, lengthen spine, shoulders back. Exhale, bend knees, plant hands, and step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, step the right foot forward. Exhale, take the back heel down. You could also take the back knee down. Strong through the feet. Inhale, come up to stand, arms overhead. And exhale, plant the hands in front of the foot, or on the sides of the foot. Inhale, come back to plank. And this is where you're going to lower option 1, 2, or 3. Exhale, lower. Inhale to either that low cobra or the upward facing dog. And then exhale, make your way back to downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward. Remember, you can use your hand to get it there. Exhale, the back heel down, or maybe the knee. Inhale, raise the arms up. And exhale, hands down on either side of the foot. Inhale to plank, and exhale to lower. Inhale, either that low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale to downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale. Keep pressing through the pads of the hands. Exhale. Inhale. Lift up the heels. Exhale. Bend into the knees. Look between the hands. Inhale. Bring the feet forward. And exhale. Fold. You can step or jump the feet forward on that. Inhale. Come all the way up to stand. Oops. And exhale, arms by your side. We were supposed to go to chair, I forgot. That's okay. So the idea of the sun salutation is a very flowing movement with every breath. And it reminds us that it's good to keep going with the flow. It reminds us that emotions are a part of that idea of flow. Inhale, raise the arms up, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up, lengthen spine, shoulders back. Exhale, bend knees, plant hands, step back to downward dog. Inhale, bring the right foot forward between the hands. And exhale, lower the back knee down, point the toe. If you'd like a little extra support under that knee, you can place a blanket under there. I'd like you to make sure that the back knee is not just hanging out under the hip, but that it's behind the hip enough so that you can feel a nice stretch on the quad here. Then bring your hands up to your thigh, breathe in, and breathe out. Pull the navel in, tailbone in. Go ahead and bring your hands to your hips. Imagine that you can lift up out of the pelvis. Breathe in and breathe out. The hips might sink a little lower, but your upper body and your lower back are pulling up out of them. Inhale. You can keep your hands on the thigh or maybe bring them up toward the sky. Inhale, heart lifts. And exhale. This pose is called crescent moon pose. As the heart moves upward to create the shape of the crescent moon. Go ahead and exhale, release the hands back down. It reminds us, inhale, bring the hands back and lift the toes up. It reminds us of the shape of the moon, the light of the moon, and how, go ahead and fold over this leg, how the light shines just on that little glimmer of light on the moon. Even though we know the moon is round and full, in the crescent moon it's just a sliver of light. It's really beautiful. Inhale, come back up, walk your hands forward, bend back into that right knee, and breathe out. You're going to move your right foot over to the right. Inhale, long spine, shoulders back. Exhale, stay here, or come down onto your forearms, or maybe onto a block or a couple of books, something like that. Notice if your head is falling down or if you're still looking forward. Try to create a little more energy in the body by looking forward. Draw the shoulders back. And then optional, we can tuck the toes and lift the knee, creating even more energy here. One more breath. And then lower the knee. Inhale, walk the hands back. We're going to keep the arms extended for just a moment here. Exhale, walk the hands so that they're behind the foot if you can. You might have to pull your belly in around the back slightly. And then play around with bending into the front knee. Your hands are shoulder width apart and you're pressing your way into the pads of the hands. And it's possible that the back of your right arm is making contact with the thigh. So as you bend into that right elbow and lean forward, the weight of the thigh comes onto the back of the arm. This might remind you a little bit of crow pose. If you want to have a challenge, you can lift the back knee and work to extend the right, or kind of walk the right foot out in front. And optional, put a little more weight into the hands. And we'll come back, all the way back to child's pose. See what I mean? There's lots of options today. So maybe just watch asana is the pose that you want to do, which is just to watch. All right, let's come back up, breathe in, and back to downward dog, breathe out. Inhale, let's bring the left foot forward, and breathe out, the lower knee down, point the toe. Inhale, the hands up to the thigh. Exhale, pull belly in, tailbone down, shoulders down. You can bring your hands to your hips for a moment. Press them down slightly, but lift up out of them. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, shoulders down. Inhale, optional, raise the arms. So just like the whole back side of the body creates this curving shape like the light of the crescent moon, we can think of the light or the glimmer of hope that is amidst the darkness there, amidst despair, the emotion of despair. The despair is real, but so is the hope. And then exhale, bring the hands back down. Inhale, walk the hands back. Lift the toes up. Square the hips, and exhale, fold over the leg. Breathe in, shoulders back, away from the ears, long spine. And breathe out. This one sometimes is nice to have a block under your hands or something. Inhale, walk the hands forward, bend back into that left knee. And exhale, walk the foot out to the side a little bit. Breathe in, look forward. And breathe out, maybe lower down onto forearms or onto your block. Breathe in and breathe out. Optional to tuck the back toes and lift the back knee. So that's option 1 is knee down. Option 2 is knee lifted. And option 3 could be where we come up onto the hands, move the hands back behind the foot a little bit and work this space here, which is to say to kind of bend the elbows, start to walk that front foot forward, tuck the toes behind you, and maybe find an arm balance here. And whichever pose you're in, come back to all fours and then downward dog. And then inhale, come up to all fours again. Exhale, tuck the toes under and lift the hips. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward. And then inhale, step or jump the feet forward. Exhale, fold. Soften the knees. Inhale, come up to stand, arms reach up. And exhale, arms by your side. Inhale, turn to face the long edge of your mat. And exhale, take the feet wide. Inhale, the hands to the hips, shoulders back. As you exhale, draw the belly in. Inhale, press down on the hips, lengthen up. And exhale, fold forward. If it works, take your hands to the floor and work to bring the hands so that the palms of the hands are flat to the floor. And if that doesn't work, you can widen the legs a little bit. You can bend the knees a little bit. You also can put a block underneath the hands. If the palms are on the floor and your elbows can still bend, walk your hands back so your fingertips are in line with your toe tips. Inhale here. Let's all lengthen the spine. Pull the belly in and exhale. If you have a little bit more space in the hips to bend, go ahead and bend. Your elbows might bend a little bit. Shoulders are drawing away from the ears. Spine is long. Breathe in and breathe out. And then we'll inhale. Bring the hands more to a neutral space where they're under the shoulders if they're not there. Ready? And exhale. Walk your hands over to the right. Come over to that foot. And just kind of draw the body gently toward that leg. Inhale. Come back to the center. Walk over to the left side of the body. And exhale. Draw the body gently toward the leg. And then inhale, back to neutral. Come up onto the fingertips. Exhale, bring the heels in, bend the knees. Inhale, come up to stand. Bring the arms out to a T, then bend the elbows, bend the knees. Exhale into goddess position. Breathe in and pull belly in. Breathe out. Tap into that divine feminine energy that encourages us to allow emotions to flow. Very powerful energy. And then inhale, straighten the knees and the arms. And exhale, release the arms down. Inhale, turn your right toes out. And exhale, your left toes in. Inhale the arms out to a T. And exhale, bend into the knee, maybe widening your stance a little bit. We're going to bring that right forearm to thigh, left arm over the ear. Breathe in, lift the chest, lift the gaze, and breathe out. Inhale, come back up, straighten the leg, take the arms out to a T. Exhale, lean toward the side of the room there, and come on down into triangle. Hand could be on a block, or somewhere on your leg, or possibly on the floor. And then we're going to inhale and flow back up. And exhale, bend the knee, come back into this same position, or optional, bring the hand to the floor inside of the foot with the top hand reaching now toward the ceiling instead of over the ear. And then we'll flow right back up. Inhale and exhale, reach, and then down again, triangle. Optional, top arm over the ear here in triangle. Little bend in that front leg. Inhale, come up. And exhale, bend the knee again, coming back down to side angle. So the forearm could be on the thigh or the hand on the floor. And another option here is to bind the pose. So we take the top arm and we tuck it behind the back. See if we can get our fingertips to feel that thigh. And then the other hand comes behind, underneath, and reaches for that hand. Inhale and exhale. Optional here is to work to gently start to straighten the bent knee. Just a little bit. Keep opening up the chest and trying to work the chest forward. Like a bound triangle pose here. Or a bound side angle pose. And then another option here is to keep going through that flow, back up, and then down to triangle, and back up and into side angle. Or we can work to bring the left foot in and then come up onto the tippy toes of the right foot. Press strongly through the left foot and see if you can come up to stand and maybe extend the leg for this pose called Bird of Paradise. And then we'll come back down, if we were up there, into this bound pose. And if you're bound still, think about any emotion that you would like to let go of. Bring that to mind. And then take a breath in. And as you exhale, release the bind. And inhale, we'll come back up. Exhale, arms down. That's a lot. Let's switch the feet. Left toes out, right toes in. Inhale, arms out. And exhale, bend into the front knee, forearm to thigh, top arm over the ear. Breathe in and breathe out, remembering what we learned last time about stability through the feet. And then we're going to add the flow. Inhale up and exhale to triangle. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale and exhale. And then inhale up. Exhale back to that bent knee. You can come to arm over ear, or you can come to hand on the floor, or hand on the block is also another option. Top hand up toward the ceiling. And then optional here, we can bind the pose. That is to take the top hand behind the back and the bottom hand underneath the thigh and work to make that connection or lock there. And then we can work to straighten that front leg, bringing the chest forward on the breath in and the belly in on the breath out. Stability through the feet. And then we'll bend back into that knee. And optional, do more of the flow or bring the left foot in. And come up onto the tippy toes. Sorry, bring the right foot in. Come up onto the tippy toes of the left foot. And then inhale, press strongly through the right foot to come up to stand. And maybe extend that leg. And then we'll come back down. Bring to mind any emotions that you'd like to release. Breathe in and breathe out. Release the arms. We'll come all the way up and exhale. All right. Come to the top edge of your mat again. Inhale, raise the arms up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up, lengthen spine. Exhale, bend knees, plant the hands, and step back to downward dog. Inhale, raise the right leg high. And exhale, bring the right knee forward toward the right wrist. Here you can set it down. Scoot your foot over to the left, lower your back knee down, and set up for pigeon. And remember that if you have any pain in the knee on this pose, that you're going to come around onto your back and do this instead. You can fold forward, maybe bring your forearms down, maybe bring your forearms onto a block. Maybe you use that block to rest your forehead. Big hip opener here. Allow the exhales to help you release the tension in the hip. Release anything that feels like it's been tied up, knotted up. Send lots of good breath in, lots of good energy in, and imagine an unraveling and a letting go, a releasing there at the hip on the exhales. One more breath here. And then we'll inhale, lift up the head, extend the arms, tuck the toes under behind you, and come back to downward dog. You can shake it out a little bit. Inhale, left leg high. And exhale, knee toward left wrist. Foot comes over to the right side of the mat. Lower the back leg, square the hips, and fold forward. Or you can stay lifted. Find some way to be comfortable in this pose. Some people love this pose and other people find it very, very challenging. Remember, we don't want you to be in pain. We want you to feel supported. Stretching should not feel sharp or pinching. That might be something else. That might not be the fascia on the muscles stretching, but something else. So if you feel pinching, you want to shift and change to come to a place that you can relax and focus on the breath, and even focus on releasing anything that needs to be released. And then we're going to come back up. Inhale, extend the arms, tuck the toes under, and exhale back to downward dog again. Inhale, shake it out. And exhale, lower the knees, take the feet around to one side. And we'll take the legs wide. Any way on your mat that works for you. Reach back and pull the flesh of your butt backward a little bit. It'll help with the little tilt of the pelvis, or you could reach your blanket or pillow behind you to help tilt the pelvis. Point your toes up. Inhale, lift up. Engage the thighs here. And exhale, start to tip forward any amount. So you might have no tipping forward when you've got the toes up and the knees up. This might be as forward as you're going to get, and that's okay. Stay right there and breathe. But if you've got a little more, you can walk your hands forward. Don't let the knees turn in or the toes turn in. Keep them pointing up, okay? And then work your way forward, and just real slowly. Every inhale, you're going to lengthen the spine, reach your sit bones toward the floor. And every exhale, pull the belly in, maybe go a little deeper. And the hands doesn't really matter where they are. They might reach forward. Some of you might reach them toward your toes. Some of you might even have them behind your back, lengthening up the spine. And then we'll inhale, back upright. Take a hold of the thighs and bend the knees and draw the legs together. Move that blanket that might be underneath you. And bend the knees enough to put the feet on the floor, heels in close. Turn your fingers to face forward, but place the fingertips behind your hips. Feet are about hip width apart, parallel. And inhale, lift up the hips, chin to chest, or if you want, you can lift your chin and send your head backward. Lift the hips a little bit more, breathe in, and breathe out. We'll come back down, chin to chest, hips back down. Inhale, extend the legs out in front of you. You can bring that blanket back under, or just slide the flesh of your bottom back a bit. Toes up. I'm going to turn this way for you. Fingertips behind you. Let's start there. Shoulder blades together, toes up. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, press the hands or the fingertips into the floor and see if you can lengthen the spine. Breathe in and then breathe out. Pull the belly in. Sometimes we can even lift the belly up and out of the way a bit here so we can get a little deeper connection. Inhale, lengthen, And exhale, fold. Draw the pinky toes back toward you, not just the big toes, but also the pinky toes. And then if you want, you can bring your hands forward. But make sure you don't round your back as a result. I want you to spend a few more breaths here in this pose. Really loosen up the hamstrings. And then inhale, lift back up. We can move that pillow out of the way or blanket. Again, the fingertips will go behind you. And if this hurts your wrists to do this, or your elbows or your shoulders, try turning your wrists a different direction. See if that helps. And then optionally, you can bend the knees and put the feet back on the floor, or you can try it like this. It's called a reverse plank. Inhale, lift the hips. And exhale here. If it's too much, just come down, bend the knees, and lift the hips again like we did before. Shoulders back. And exhale to lower back down to the floor. Inhale, bend the knees. And exhale, come back upright. Take your feet about as wide as your mat. I'm going to turn to face you again. And hold on to your legs and draw your belly forward. See if you can kind of get inside that space there. And then pull your body forward as much as you can, and see if your arms can come underneath your legs. You can stay here, option 1. Or option 2, maybe take the hands behind you. And maybe option 3, this would be, to walk the feet forward, and maybe even toward each other, and maybe cross the ankles. This is called tortoise pose. Some of you might be able to even reach your hands behind your back or reach a strap there. If, in order for you to release your emotions, you need to go into your shell, then so be it. This is a shell here. Honor this space that you've created and release. Release the tension in the hips. Find the breath. Help it let you let go. Maybe release emotional tension. And then we're going to slowly come up. So if you walked your feet together, start to walk them back apart. Slide the arms forward and lift back up. It's a very intense hip opening forward fold. So we're going to come to lying down into Shavasana for a moment. It's a baby Shavasana here. And just let the spine neutralize here. Let's do a spinal twist. Draw the right knee up toward the chest. Inhale. And exhale, take it across the body. Remember to bring your left hip onto its side and in the middle of your mat. Look to the right. And then inhale, come back to neutral. Exhale, bring the right hip onto its side. Extend that leg, draw the left knee up and over. Look to the left. And then we'll come back to neutral. Bring the bottoms of the feet to the floor in close to the bottom. Bring your palms down by your sides. Heels in nice and close, shoulder blades together. Inhale, lift up the tailbone, the hips, the whole pelvis. And exhale here. If you want, you can interlace the fingers or walk the shoulder blades a little closer together. Breathe in and breathe out. Hips a little bit higher. Inhale and exhale. You're going to do one more breath in. So really lift it up. And then exhale, lower the upper back, the middle back, the lower back. Walk your feet out to the edges of your mat and let your knees touch. You can turn your palms up and just take a moment to breathe. And then walk your feet back to neutral. If you want, you can slide a pillow, blanket, or block underneath the sacrum. And inhale, lift the legs. Just enjoy the peace of having your legs up in the air. Whoa. Sorry, I knocked my mic down. By the way, I just want to thank you for putting up with me trying to figure all this out. It's very awkward and strange teaching you from my home. But I do feel connected to you, which is good. If your hips are elevated with something, you can bend the knees, put the feet on the floor, lift your hips and remove that pillow or whatever it was. I encourage you not to skip Shavasana. It's sort of like making a cake, getting all the ingredients, creating the batter, stirring it all up, pouring it into the pan, and then not baking the cake. The Shavasana is where all that energy that those poses created is moving and is being redistributed through the body as you relax all of the muscles, as you turn off all of that direction from the brain. There's a transformative process that happens. It's like the baking of the cake here. It's where all that good stuff turns into something delicious. Slowly begin to deepen the breath. Start to wiggle the fingers and the toes, while your ankles and your wrists. And take the arms overhead, draw the legs together. And then bend the knees and roll to the right side. Take a breath there. And when you're ready, push yourself back up to seated. Bring the hands together. Bow the chin. Take that moment to look within. Thank you for being here. Thank you. And thank you for completing your response form. I look forward to seeing them. Namaste, everybody.